Even though the presidential election has been called for Joe Biden as it officially ticks through the state's process of certification, Senator Schumer said there is still a chance for Democrats to take the Senate. Plenty of other Democrats are emerging from the election cycle with serious concerns about the health and future of their party, especially when talking about the progressive side, as you just heard from Mike Emanuel. One of those is West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. He joins us tonight. Senator, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Brett.
You know, a lot of focus now on those Georgia runoffs, and potentially, if it all adds up, Thom Tillis wins in North Carolina, Dan Sullivan in Alaska. It looks like those two races could be the control of the U.S. Senate, with a tie then going to Vice President Harris. What do you tell people about that and concern about that, considering all we've heard about the progressive agenda?
Well, there's a lot of people that are concerned. There's a lot of fear tactics are being used right now, Brett. If both of the Georgia senators were elected from the Democratic Party, then that would be 50-50 if both Dan Sullivan and Thom Tillis win. 50-50 means there's a tie. But if one senator does not vote on a Democratic side, there is no tie and there is no bill. So I commit to you tonight, and I commit to all of your viewers and everyone else that's watching, I want to lay those fears, I want to rest those fears for you right now, because when they talk about whether it be packing the courts or ending the filibuster, I will not vote to do that. I will not vote to pack the courts, I think, and I will not vote to end the filibuster. Brett, this system, the Senate, was so unique body in the world. It was made to work together in a bipartisan way. And once you start breaking down those barriers, then you lose every reason that we are the institution that we are, the most deliberate body. So I want to lay those fears to rest, that won't happen, because I will not be the 50th Democrat voting to end that filibuster or to basically stack the court. And then all the other things you're hearing about, Brett, also is defund the police. I don't know of any of the Democrats in the caucus that are for defunding the police. We're not for that whatsoever. And when they talk about basically Medicare for all, we can't even pay for Medicare for some. Doesn't make any sense at all. We've got to fix the Affordable Care Act we have, and I think our moderate Republicans will work with us to now repair what needs to be repaired.
Let me just clarify here, Senator. You're saying definitively tonight that even if Democrats take control and Chuck Schumer becomes the Senate Majority Leader, that they try to break the filibuster, say the filibuster is over, you will definitively vote against that?
Absolutely. I will vote against that. I've been very clear about that. I'm the only Democrat senator that has voted against the filibuster, which is what the nuclear option that Harry Reid did in 2013. And I voted against the nuclear option when Mitch McConnell did it in 2017 for the Supreme Court. I thought we should be working together. It should take a minimum of 60. And that means you're going to have a few Democrats or Republicans, depending on who's in the majority, to work together. That's what we're all about. Why would you break that down? And there's no need to have the Senate.
All right, so there's some Republicans who will say to you, I don't buy it. There's going to be too much pressure on you. Chuck Schumer is going to come hard, and he's going to say, I'll give you a chairmanship of XYZ. And they're going to come hard to get that vote. You voted some key votes against Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation. You said you didn't like the process, if I remember right. You said she was qualified, but you voted against her. You voted against the $500 billion COVID relief bill. You said it wasn't big enough. But if you were a Republican, you would have voted for it. You voted for the Justice Act, the Tim Scott bill, and for the USMCA. But if you're a Republican and you look at you...
Neil, Brett, I voted for Neil Gorsuch. I voted for Brett Kavanaugh. I was against this process because never in the history of the United States of America have we ever confirmed a Supreme Court justice when a vacancy happened between July and November. And I've been very clear about that. I voted for Amy Coney Barrett for the 17th Circuit. I'm not going to break precedent. So if I can take that type of pressure, if I can vote for Brett Kavanaugh, the only Democrat, if I can take that type of pressure, you don't think that I can basically justify what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to vote, knowing that I'm sitting in the seat that Robert C. Byrd held, who wrote the rules of the Senate? This is an institution
and you wouldn't
that has
become
to be
a Republican.
Protected. You don't need, whether you're D or not, right. I'm a proud, moderate, conservative Democrat. Maybe there's not many of us left, but I can tell you this country wants a moderation. This country, you run your life, you run your business from the middle, not from the fringes. And that's where I've always been. So for something, whatever the message was, it was wrong for this many people to be split, for us not to be able to have a message that didn't scare the bejesus out of people. And when you're talking about basically Green New Deal and all this socialism, that's not who we are as a Democratic Party. It's not how I was raised in West Virginia. It's not the Democrats I know. But yet we've been tagged. If you have a D by your name, you must be for all the crazy stuff, and I'm not.
I'm going to play a soundbite here. This is you talking about the Trump tax cuts, and now the president-elect, Joe Biden.
Okay. The bottom line is the president started out the conversation. This is not a tax cut for the rich. Myself nor any of the 1%ers are going to get tax cuts. This is going to be about mainstream, about us creating an opportunity, stimulating this economy, being globally competitive.
He does take advantage of the tax cut. That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts.
So, as a Democrat, would you vote to eliminate the Trump tax cut?
There are some adjustments that need to be made. There's been adjustments all along that need to be made. I was against when he went to 21%, and I said, Mr. President, please, for every 1% that you reduce from 35 down to 21, I says 25 would be a great place for us to stop, and would be very competitive in the superpower of the world. For every 1% of that of the taxing, it's $100 billion, Brett. $100 billion, corporate tax 1%. And I said, sir, we can't give away that much. We still have obligation. Brett, as of this morning, we're over $27 trillion. $27 trillion of debt. Never before have we amassed this much debt in this short of a time, other than World War II. So we've got to get our financial house in order, and nobody has talked about that. Nobody. But we don't need to raise.
It was not an issue in this election. Let me ask you one last thing, Senator, and we appreciate your time. What's the message to your party as you look at the split in the country? 71 million people plus said, we want Donald Trump's vision for the country. What's the message for your party that you take from this election?
Well, the message from my party is that look at the individual, look at the people running, whether it be in Georgia, do they understand the farmers? They understand rural Georgia. They understand basically the health care needs of rural America. You know, this country has been split right now, Brett, down the middle between rural and urban. And it's getting further, the divide's getting further and further. I come from the rural part of this country. My whole state is rural. And I guarantee you one thing, you've got to scrap to survive. And these are hardworking people. They felt like they were left behind. No one was listening to them. And I think we can bring that back together. Basically, as we do in energy policy, you have to be independent, energy independent in this country. You can't eliminate certain things. We're going to use fossil in its cleanest fashion. We're going to be basically moving towards renewables. We can do all of that, but you have to use everything you have. But you can't leave an area behind. When the coal market goes out, you've got to be able to bring other different opportunities to the people in the hardworking areas that built this, to build America and build the country. That's what we're working on. We are still a party that has compassion. We are still a party that has sympathy and empathy. We have to work together. But you know one thing? My Republican friends, these are all good people. Can't we work together? We might have a different idea of how to fix a problem, but we can work together to try to solve them rather than basically blaming each other. And that's what's happened to America.
Well, Senator, we appreciate your time. I bet some Democrats are doing some math after your comments tonight, and thanks a lot. We'll see what goes forward.
Well, we're not going to ruin this country. We're going to bring this country together.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Up next.